Imagine a modern aeroplane with 239 people on board, disappearing from radar mid-flight, without a trace, without a distress call, without a single piece of wreckage for years. A mystery that defies technology, logic, and human comprehension, becoming the greatest enigma in modern aviation. This is the case of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a disappearance that shocked the world and left millions of people with the question, what really happened to MH370? Prepare to delve into a story of conspiracy theories, fruitless searches, and the unbearable pain of families who are still waiting for answers. This is a tale of a flight that never reached its destination, and a mystery that continues to haunt humanity. Are you ready to unravel the secrets of Flight MH370 and perhaps, just perhaps, find a missing piece in this aerial puzzle? Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 MH370 MAS370 was an international passenger flight operated by Malaysia Airlines, a respected airline with a good safety record. On the 8th of March 2014, the Boeing 777-200ER, registered as 9MMO, took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia, bound for Beijing Capital International Airport, China. On board were 227 passengers from 15 different nationalities and 12 crew members, totaling 239 people. Among the passengers, the majority were Chinese citizens, which later generated intense pressure and criticism on the Malaysian government. The flight was considered routine, and there were no indications of technical problems or any abnormality before takeoff. The aircraft, a Boeing 777, was one of the safest and most reliable models in commercial aviation, which makes its disappearance even more inexplicable. About 40 minutes after takeoff, while the flight was over the South China Sea, the crew made their last communication with air traffic control. The message, "Good night, Malaysian 370, was uttered by co-pilot Farik Abdul Hamid. Minutes later, the aircraft disappeared from secondary radar screens, which is the system that tracks aircraft identification and altitude. However, the Malaysian military's primary radar system continued to track the plane for another hour, showing that it deviated drastically to the west of its planned route, crossing the Malay Peninsula and the Strait of Malacca, and then turning south over the Indian Ocean. The plane flew out of radar range at 200 nautical miles, 370 kilometers northwest of Penang Island, in northwestern Peninsula Malaysia. The lack of any emergency communication, distress signal, or apparent mechanical failure before the route deviation is one of the most disturbing aspects of the case. It's as if the plane was deliberately diverted from its course and then simply vanished. The disappearance of Flight 370 is considered the deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777 and the deadliest in Malaysia Airlines history until it was surpassed by Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, which was shot down over Ukraine 4 months later. The absence of any immediate wreckage or evidence in the days and weeks following the disappearance made the case an unprecedented enigma, fueling a series of theories and speculations that persist to this day. The search for Flight 370 became the most expensive and extensive in aviation history, involving multiple countries and advanced technological resources. Initially, searches focused on the South China Sea and the Andaman Sea, areas that were part of the flight's original route. However, an innovative analysis of the aircraft's automated communications with an Inmarsat satellite, which continued 4 hours after the plane disappeared from radar, indicated that the plane had flown south over the Indian Ocean. This new information drastically shifted the focus of the search to a vast and remote area of the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most inhospitable and deepest regions on the planet. Despite an intensive search that covered 120,000 square kilometers, 46,300 square miles of ocean, utilizing high-tech sonar and autonomous underwater vehicles, the plane was not found. In January 2017, The Joint Agency Coordination Center (JACC), which led the operation, suspended its activities, declaring that the search had been concluded. A second search, launched in January 2018 by a private company, Ocean Infinity, also ended without success after 6 months, despite having used the most advanced seafloor mapping technology. The inability to find the plane, even with so many resources, only deepened the mystery and the family's frustration. Between 2015 and 2016, several pieces of debris were found on the coast of the Western Indian Ocean, thousands of kilometers from the main search area. Many of them were confirmed to be from Flight 370, including a flaperon found on Reunion Island, a French territory in the Indian Ocean. Although the discovery of this debris confirmed that the plane crashed, they did not provide sufficient clues about what caused the disappearance or the exact location of the aircraft's main body. The debris was small and fragmented. An analysis of ocean currents suggested that they could have traveled long distances, making it difficult to trace the exact origin of the accident. Various theories about the cause of the disappearance have been proposed, each with its proponents and critics. Pilot Act, the possibility that one or both pilots deliberately diverted the plane and brought it down into the ocean. This theory gained traction due to the route deviation and the deactivation of communication systems. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this hypothesis, and the pilots' profiles did not indicate suicidal or terrorist tendencies. Catastrophic mechanical failure, a catastrophic failure in the aircraft's systems that would have led to a loss of control and the plane's crash. However, the Boeing 777 is known for its robustness and system redundancy, making this hypothesis less likely without evidence of failure. Hijacking, terrorist act. Although no organization has claimed responsibility, the possibility of a hijacking or terrorist act was considered. However, the absence of any communication or demands from the hijackers makes this theory difficult to sustain. Onboard fire, a fire that would have incapacitated the crew and the plane systems, leading to a loss of control. This theory is plausible, but the lack of fire evidence in the discovered debris makes it less likely. Cabin depressurization, a cabin depressurization that would have rendered everyone on board unconscious, with the plane continuing to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed. This theory would explain the lack of communication and the absence of distress signals, but not the deliberate route deviation. Dangerous cargo, the possibility that dangerous cargo on board caused an incident leading to the disappearance. This theory was widely investigated, but no conclusive evidence was found. To this day, none of these theories have been proven, and the cause of Flight 370's disappearance remains a mystery. The lack of official information in the days immediately following the disappearance generated strong criticism from the Chinese public, especially from the passengers' families, as most of the people on board Flight 370 were of Chinese origin. Frustration and distrust towards the authorities grew, and the search for answers became a tireless struggle for the families. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 continues to be one of aviation's greatest mysteries and a grim reminder of human vulnerability in the face of the unknown. The pain of families who lost their loved ones is compounded by the lack of answers and the uncertainty about what truly happened. The case has spurred advancements in aircraft tracking technology and international cooperation in air accident investigations, with the implementation of new regulations to ensure that an aeroplane never again disappears without a trace. However, the enigma of MH370 remains unsolved, haunting collective memory and inspiring countless theories, documentaries, and books, each attempting to unravel the puzzle. The search for answers continues, and the hope is that, one day, the truth about the fate of Flight 370 will finally be revealed, bringing some kind of closure to the families and to the world. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 is a mystery that refuses to be solved. a ghost in the skies that continues to haunt us. What do you think about this aerial disappearance case? Which theory do you find most plausible? Do you believe the truth will be revealed one day? Leave your comments below and share your thoughts. Your opinion is very important to us. If you found this story intriguing and want more cases that defy logic and make us question reality, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to not miss the next videos. In our next episode, we will delve into another mystery that will leave you breathless. Stay tuned.